Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
So let's do this. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So Dr. Gabe, welcome to the Chiropractic Philanthropist. One of the things that we love to start with is actually just learning a little bit about you. So tell us about you. Tell us about you as a chiropractor, but also as a leader and a mentor inside of the profession today.
Right on. So let's see. I've been in practice for 8 years, Dr. Ed. I've helped many associates open up clinics on their own. I currently have 2 clinics. And I think I have a similar story to most chiropractors. The same mission is to, of course, help as many people as possible. Just stay away from a prescription drug life, a life led to unnecessary surgery, and really just being the most compassionate and empathetic and helpful practitioner that I can be. But I think I share a common frustration with chiropractors, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. And that's just feeling, you know, as much as we offer, I think I'm feeling it's a one-way relationship many times where I actually care more about the patient than the patient actually cares about themselves. So it drives my purpose is chiropractic. The philosophy, I think we have the best healers in this world. I feel like, I've helped thousands of lives. I love natural holistic chiropractic care, but I think we're just scratching the surface on what we can actually offer patients. Inside the chiropractic arena, yeah, I'm trying to be out there with as many chiropractors as possible, learning, how to grow, how to expand. I'm the carnival conference guy. Until recently, would go to every conference that I could possibly attend. Figuring out that I enjoy and appreciate my balance at home much more, and so I'm kind of getting away from that sort of that avenue. But yeah, man, my purpose is just like every other chiropractor out there: provide the best quality care, help people function at a higher level, and teach them about health and healing.
How long have you been in practice?
Graduated Palmer, Iowa, 2010. So this is my 8th year. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so, has practice always been an easy thing for you?
Yes. In this regard, I was having this conversation because we just recently opened another clinic up, and I'm watching how difficult it is to open up a clinic, right? And I remember when I first opened, we started steamrolling, man. We were bringing new patients in. We were keeping the patients that we actually did bring in. And I don't want to say it was easy because, I can't remember yesterday, let alone, what it was like when I first opened, but relatively a quick growth period in our clinic. And, I think back on why that was, and this was before Facebook. This was before we could do these, sort of marketing tactics, and it was just quality customer service. And I think that people saw a person that was genuine and authentic and truly passionate. And I think chiropractors have this passion that is separate than any other healthcare professional. Like, nobody walks into a medical doctor's office excited. I feel like most people in our profession, they have patients that come in one state of mind and they leave in an elevated state of mind. So, the clinic, my first clinic, it picked up pretty quick. It was awesome. It was fun. And then I hit this peak, wanted to reach a new peak, and kept doing this kind of roller coaster of never really having like a complete satisfaction. So, that's what I want to talk about tonight. But opening up a practice is not easy, my man. I think it's harder nowadays than ever before too.
The interesting thing I know about you, and we're probably going to talk about this quite a bit tonight, is that, when I was in practice, it was all about one thing, and that was adjusting the patient. It was like, look, if I had just adjusted the patient, they'll never need anything else. They'll never get sick, Dr. Gabe.
Yeah.
I've since learned that I learned the hard way that that's not true.
I love my brothers and my sisters in the chiropractic world. I think sometimes we are overpromising and under-delivering. I know I was guilty of that out of school. I mean, I thought I was going to cure everything under the sun through an adjustment. And then I realized not every single patient eats the way that I eat or works out the way that I work out. And then I also learned, even though our clinics was on an upward trend, man, I was tired. Like, I love helping people, but I didn't want to have to make more money and seeing an extra 100 people a day, adjusting 100 different, more spines a day. That seemed exhausting. And that was the mentality when I got out of school. I was like, oh, I want to be a 500 a week, 1,000 a week chiropractor. And I think I realized pretty quick that wasn't my purpose. That's not the kind of practice that I wanted.
Yeah, I totally resonate with exactly what you're saying. And the interesting thing is that I hear this more and more from chiropractors every day. And one of the things, like, I remember writing this article called, it was the first blog that I ever wrote, Dr. Gabe, and it was called Confessions of a Formerly Straight Chiropractor. And nobody had heard of me before, but when I put it out on social media, it was like we were getting 1,200 hits a day. It just went crazy because what I had done was I actually started doing something in my practice that outside, like recommending something, like adding something into care outside of actually just the adjustment alone. And I think that's kind of where the conversation is going to go today for us. Because I think a lot of chiropractors need to hear this. Wouldn't you agree?
I think every chiropractor needs to hear it, whether or not they're open to it, maybe a different story. But yeah, if we are going to evolve as a profession, if we're going to actually, treat more than pain patients and actually help them beyond, temporary relief, we've got to expand what we're offering to our patients and how we deliver it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go there. So I'm going to just, because, I'm going to be really transparent and real on this. And I should have probably titled this, and I'll edit the title after we're done, but we got like 17 or so people floating in and out on this call right now, like on this interview. But here's the reality of this is that, look, I got sick in 2009. 2011, I needed surgery. I have a chronic inflammatory challenge that I am constantly looking for something that can actually help me. I can't tell you how many docs have told me, look, adjust L3. And I get it. Or maybe it's C1. I get it. I totally understand because I've been there. But sometimes you have to add something else in. So I started looking at things from outside in. I really did. And one of the things that I found was actually CBD. Like, it was one of the only things that actually literally allowed me to sleep at night. Like, it changed the quality of my life. Like, coming from someone who has chronic inflammation and lives in daily in pain. And I know that you're seeing this in your practice. So tell us a little bit about the results that you're seeing with CBD in your practice.
Well, one thing you just said, man, is you experienced it the hard way. Now, there's no difference between you and 90% of the patients that are in our chiropractic clinics. They just have a low-grade chronic sort of inflammation process building. Yeah. That no L3, C1, C2 adjustment is going to completely take care of it. Now, I am all for adjusting spines. I will continue to do it for the rest of my life. But we need to complement that with something that's powerful like CBD that's actually going to overall decrease the inflammation process within the body, which we do know is the precursor to, every illness and disease too, whether it be small or whether it be, life-threatening. So what the hell was your question, Ed? I back up.
So I mean, like, here's someone like me. Like, I'm almost literally like your typical patient. So yes, you're going to check, you're going to correct as you find subluxation and remove the misalignment, but not necessarily is that enough. You have to add something else in. For me personally, I found that CBD was actually incredibly helpful. But what are some of the results that you're seeing inside of your practice? Like, what are the clinical results you're seeing?
So let's start from the very first time I used CBD. And here's the thing, if it's my philosophy, if it's mother approved, And if you use it on your own mother and it works, then it's patient approves. So just like you, my mother had a huge health crisis. She had cancer. She had this horrible sleeping problem disorder where she spent literally 7 years of her life not getting quality sleep, which we all know what that can do to the immune system, the body, what other disease processes it can create. And so my good friend, my partner in the CBD world, who is incredibly knowledgeable, had been telling me about CBD oil for a long time. And finally, when he started talking about the benefits of sleep, and, I think the first article I read on CBD was the actual amazing results I had with kids and seizures, which is documented thousands of times over again. But when I heard him talk about sleep, of course, a light bulb went off, and this person was, it's my best friend, my mom. And I decided, okay, well, there's gotta be something that can be done. Sleeping pills wasn't the life that I wanted her to be on. And so, basically what happened was I gave her CBD pills, and she literally had a transformation in her sleep. The first night she took it, instead of getting up a dozen times throughout the night, she was up 2 or 3 times. She calls me up. She said, "What did you give me? What was that?" I think there's a lot of confusion. We'll have to sort this out. But she didn't know if I was giving her something that was legal or not legal. And of course,
exactly,
100% legal. But the CBD with our clinic with patients, it would be like an order for this. It would be sleep automatically improves with everybody that I've seen so far. We have our pain patients, whether it be chronic or acute. Again, that's working on the inflammation. The kids in our clinic, and I know, Dr. Ed, you were a huge pediatrician chiropractor. It's my passion. I mean, there's nothing better than watching and changing the quality of life for a kid. And the CBD oil with seizures, with ADHD, with concentration issues has been tremendous. Parents are, we're getting testimonials every day from patients that we can share with people. And then, we have our anxiety patients. We can go as far in depth as you want tonight, but the way CBD works within the body, it really is a balancing system. And, and instead of having people take Xanax and all these medications that we know have terrible side effects, they're getting the exact same results from CBD oil. So I would say those are probably the biggest ones that we're seeing. But, I use it as a wellness supplement. I mean, this is, if we know that it's clinically proven to fight against inflammation, then why wouldn't I be using it for myself and my family?
And I want to clear something up. So there's no psychotropic effects to this, right? I mean,
there is not. I think I have patients that wish they were getting that, but no, CBD oil is high in CBD. It's low or no THC. So the psychoactive ingredient in the other flower is not there. So that's not no high out of this product. No.
Yeah. I mean, I tried some with a little bit of the THC once. I think that was when I first tried it, like over a year ago. And I actually did a webinar, Dr. Gabe. And I'm like this is the best webinar. I'm thinking in my mind, like, this is the best webinar I've ever done. Like, and my team is messaging me in the background going, "Why are you talking so slow?" Like, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm crushing this. But, I mean, it's truly it truly is something that's not, it's not going to affect you in that way. You get all the health benefits. And it really truly is. It's like, it's not a drug. I think is that really the biggest misconception that you hear, is that people think that there's some sort of a drug effect to it?
Yeah. This is like the different generations. It's funny within the clinic. I have patients I just had a 96-year-old woman taking CBD oil.
Yeah.
Has a fracture in her sacrum. And obviously at that age, her options are limited. So they want to do surgery. Literally sat in my waiting room, or in my exam room. She was unable to walk, just in terrible pain. She took the CBD oil in a half an hour. She's moving around better than most of my 40-year-olds. I mean, it really does work that quickly for some people. The biggest misconception is people, they don't understand the difference between the two cannabis plants of a marijuana plant and then a CBD and the hemp extract. So, you know what though? I was just talking to my guys. I mean, we got a shipment in today, and I mean, it will be off the shelves in 2 weeks. And I'm talking hundreds of bottles, because it's easy to explain this to patients. And that's been the beauty of it too. the conversation in my practice has changed from, here, I pledge I'm a wellness chiropractor, but how many of you guys out there pledge the same thing, and then half your table talk is based around pain? Yeah. Like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for two reasons, because you don't want to, it's a negative energy, and you want to help somebody. You really want to get down and make a difference in their life. And so I think the CBD has kind of been like that bridge for us. It's really complemented the central nervous system influence that we have. And that's another thing too. I didn't know anything about CBD. I didn't know anything about it. And I feel like I'm back at Palmer researching all night long. My wife has to like get me out of my office to come to bed, because I'm just so enthralled with how this CBD oil works within the body, and how it can put one person and help them sleep. And I use it more for attention focus issues, which is really incredible. And so the more I learn about it, and the more studies I'm reading, it just makes so much sense. It's one of those things where I think a lot of chiropractors, because the endocannabinoid system wasn't really taught in school, we don't know much about it. And so I'm learning the importance of it, how it plays a role, and how it influences balance within the body, which we know homeostasis is that's the key.
I mean, so I did a Facebook Live today, just off of the chiropractic philanthropist, like our business page. And it was like the top 10 niches that doctors are killing it online, absolutely killing it online right now. And I think number 2 was like CBD. Like,
it's popping up all over.
Oh, it's insanity. And it's not even it's more the reality of like, hey, look, the people who are watching this right now, the docs who are watching this that are kind of like on the fence, or they're wondering whether this is something that maybe for them that they could incorporate and improve clinical results inside of their practice. I mean, now is the time to be the early innovator, because there are so many people coming on board. It's like, I have this conversation with docs probably 3 times a week. Like, it's crazy.
Well, and it's not just the docs, Ed. It's the consumers are asking. Yeah. They've already heard about it, and so I think we're coming to a really exciting time. But I think that can create some danger too. And what I mean by that is when we find something that works within the human body, everybody's going to jump on it, which and oftentimes can dilute the integrity, the quality of the product. And so I think that is why I got really passionate about it, because I saw the results that I had with my own mother. And then I saw the results that I was getting within my clinic. And I said, I can't allow somebody else to have control over a product without me knowing exactly, how it's grown, how it's processed from basically from seed to shelf. And, that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to do everything I can, everything in my power to have a hand in creating the most powerful and highest quality product that can be available to chiropractors, and only chiropractors, not something that you would find on the shelves at a health food store or Amazon. And nothing wrong with that, but hey man, I'm a fighter for chiropractic. I think chiropractors are underappreciated, underrespected. And so if we could provide the highest quality product that's going to be congruent to what we're doing in our offices already, which is the chiropractic adjustment, my God, man, I want to make it available for the leaders in the health industry, the healers. So
yeah,
that was chiropractic. Yeah.
I agree completely. And one of the things I've done is I've actually dropped a link so that any of the docs who are watching right now, they can actually set up a time to speak to you. Like, they can fill out an application form, and then they can actually set up a time where they can speak to you personally about the results that you've had in your practice. Because, I was really shocked when your team or someone, I think it was Isaac on your team, had sent me some results as to what you had seen inside of your business, like your practice today. Like, let's step away from, hey, this is great, we're helping a lot of people. Let's actually talk about some of the numbers in the business in this. So look, you actually had how many people out of like patients that you saw today, how many people actually invested inside of CBD?
We just got our first load. I have this big box next to me that I'm super excited about. We opened up a box and I sold 20 bottles in the first half hour. I mean, that's part of that is just the talk within our clinic. I was fortunate enough to be selling this for a couple months now. And so, here's the beauty, man. I don't know. I don't know what you did in your clinic, Dr. Ed, but I've had supplements on my shelf that on a weekly basis, one of my staff members' job is to dust them off. It's like so frustrating. Although I know they're good. I know they're quality supplements for the patient, but CBD was giving people a symptomatic solution. Like they felt it. And that created this weird thing in my office where a product sold itself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like a chiropractor not having to do a day one, a day two, and people are coming in off the street to get, a really good product. So that's what happened. The CBD worked right away. People had, immediate, not that it's guaranteed, but most people were getting immediate results, or they were feeling the difference. And so, yes, I don't know. I can't even tell you the numbers, how many we sold, but I can't keep it on the shelf, put it that way. Like
I think it was a lot. They said
1,000 more bottles. I mean, that I don't think I've sold 6,000 bottles total of any supplement in my clinic for the past 8 years. And we literally can't keep CBD on the shelf, not based on what I'm doing, based on the patient's demand for it.
Okay. Complete transparency, Dr. Gabe. What's the markup? How much, what's the
Well, here's what I know is I was doing some research. The doctor actually will make, by average, on an average adjustment across our nation, the doctor actually makes more on a sell of a CBD bottle than they do what they're charging for an adjustment. So
right. So hold on, I got to back up. So that means that you had like 20 extra adjustments on the books based on how many you sold today.
Well, I have a higher priced adjustment, but for most chiropractors.
For most.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Exactly.
I mean, it's I work less, and we're able to bring in more revenue, which, that's not the purpose. I understand that's not the purpose, but if you run a practice, everybody knows that it's a headache. There's tons of frustration and stressors. And so like my overhead has done one thing every year, which is it's gone up.
Yeah. No,
so I'm either investing more people, or I'm figuring out a way to get away from being a one-dimensional chiropractor, which I've done that for 7 years, man. I think a lot of chiropractors are very one-dimensional in their practice.
Yeah. Here's what I found. Here's what I found when I was selling nutritionals in our office. So if they didn't expire on the shelf,
yeah.
I was taking them home to consume them.
Yeah.
Right? Or I was marking them down, and I was either losing money or I was just breaking even. And you know why I continued to do it though? Was because I knew it was good for people. Like I knew that I had to have those constant conversations. I guarantee there are patients right now, there are practice members, patients that are out there that are looking and researching for this. And I know, because this is what we do, is we research and see what's hot. And I know. So they're already looking for it. So why aren't they getting it from you? Why aren't they getting a good quality source, and you're actually helping them get something that's going to be, that's going to actually help them, and they're not throwing their dollars away? That's the way I kind of feel about it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And so that's also a reason, Ed, why we took like every precaution and every way to be transparent with our consumers and we're calling them our Mahalo docs, to show them our lab results, to show that we're third-party tested. So, it's not just words from our mouth. This is documented material that they can actually give to their patients. And I think there's something powerful behind that as well, because as we go down this road of more CBD options out there, how do you know what you're getting? How do you know what the bottle says is actually what's in there and what it is? And so, I think that's my mission. In my office, I've always been transparent, sometimes almost too transparent. But that's the way, and that's the philosophy that it has to be within CBD, because the more players that get involved, we're going to see stuff wiped off the shelf. We'll see studies that just show there's actually no quality within this product. We've seen that 1,000 times with supplements on different store shelves. So, I couldn't live with that aspect. So I needed control of this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we have a doc, Dr. Brian Dial. He commented, he's like, hey, CBD is awesome, man. It's like in North Carolina, our board told us we can't sell it off in our office because it's such a gray area. Now I'm sure that's a possibility for many states or even provinces, but here's the reality is that's going to change. That's going to change. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. I've done, believe me, this is like the part of the research that it's not fun for me. I like the science part of it. So we have a team that is like 2 steps ahead of all this stuff. And these guys are incredibly intelligent. They're incredibly involved within the CBD world. And everything that they've said is slowly happening. So we've already thought about this. We've already made plans to make it available. And we do know that, right now it is legal in all 50 states. It's got to meet certain requirements. But of course, it's, our brand does that. But yeah, I think we'll probably run into some scare tactics like we have with many things in the past. But I don't think this is going to be a major issue in the future. Like you said, I mean, laws are being made to actually go the opposite way in many states. And then there's the online market. So I guess all of our chiropractors will still have access to that and that portal, which again, their chiropractic patients could buy from too. So I'm not worried about that, man. It's, at first I thought this stuff is too good to be true with the results that I was seeing in my life. Anything that seemed too good to be true, I kept my distance. This thing was, beyond a coincidence, and it was happening over and over my clinic. So just like I stand up for the chiropractors and the chiropractic philosophy, I will do the same for the healing benefits and making CBD available for the chiropractic community.
I think it's just going to take time. And here's why it's so suitable for chiropractors is because we all have thick skin. Like we're already like considered alternatives, right? For most of us.
Yeah, we're in the lose. Yeah, man. It's about time we had an even playing ground. You know what I mean? Like if we could have something that offered, and we're the people that patients seek to find this solution. Like we need to be those people because it goes right. It's aligned with the congruent wellness message and mission statement that most chiropractors have like on their door or somewhere in their office. And so that is really the mission is to make the chiropractor or the wellness healer, the person that people think of first when they think of CBD. Because it's not going to be long until the bigger machines, start writing actual prescriptions for this stuff, which I think most of the consumers, most people in this world are starting to really catch on to, what's quality, where do I actually want to get, product from. And there should be no other office in the world, if you're looking for a wellness supplement, than a chiropractic office, whether it's vitamin D, whether it's omegas, whether it's CBD. Like we should be the office people are going into to seek wellness products.
Would you recommend that all the chiropractors who are watching this today, would you recommend that they at least try it?
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the best thing is the side effect is nothing. And so, that's why I want to, get on the phone with me so I can teach you guys how to actually apply CBD to yourself first, if that's what you want, and then to your patients. Because like everything, you have to find an active dose of CBD that works with you. That's why it's so exciting. I have one patient that takes 10 milligrams and has 0 symptoms for whatever they're having. I personally take 50 milligrams. Mm-hmm. I can take 50 milligrams at night and sleep like a rock. And I've already slept. I sleep fine anyways. This is a different zone of sleep. And then, I can take 20 milligrams during the middle of the day at 2:00 instead of, running to a poisonous coffee shop. And I can be like laser focused and have that same sort of feeling that lasts longer than a caffeine buzz.
Yeah. All I can tell you, and this is a testament to, the effects of CBD, and what I've noticed in my life is, with having a severe, chronic inflammatory challenge that is considered like one of the worst challenges, like cases that people have ever seen. And when I look back at this, and this has only transpired over the last 12 months, and I'll just get really kind of real here. It's like I was on Remicade, Humira. I mean, people know, docs who are watching this know what these drugs are. And coming from someone who considered themselves a very straight chiropractor, but when people when doctors put that fear into you of like, hey, you're going to die if you don't take this stuff. And then what I realized though, Gabe, is like that stuff was killing me. Like it was brutal. Like the side effects of those drugs were just insane. And it wasn't, we actually literally moved our family here to BC so I could take CBD because it was legal here.
I love that, man. You told me that one time and I was floored. That's dedication.
We moved our family so I could have access to this stuff. Like insane.
So Ed, you're the typical patient. I mean, there are people with chronic health problems in offices, and chiropractors are helping them. But we got to open our eyes, man. There is a ceiling, there's a restrictions, there's limitations based on our adjustments. And I think you said this line. I've used a similar line, but we can't adjust the cheeseburger out of a patient. We can't adjust their lifestyle. I tried to be a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and a chiropractor in my office, and I was burnt. I almost fell out of love with my profession.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing too is like, Ed, maybe you can remember in your olden days of practicing, but have you ever talked to a patient and you say, Mary, when you first came in here, you were a 10 out of 10 as far as low back pain. Where are you now? She says, well, I'm a 3. And I say, oh, that's amazing. What do you think has changed, or why are you a 3? And they say, well, I think I started sleeping on my left side. And I'm like, wow, what just happened here? And I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator. Like, I deliver an educational process in my clinic that is pretty dang good. But I think a lot of times the frustration is there was always a little bit something else the patient was doing that seemed like it was giving just as much or sometimes more credit. And then that's what I've really noticed since introducing CBD is patients are giving us credit. We're giving CBD credit, which I still take credit for because that's what I'm delivering to them. So that's you. And like, I don't know. It's the frustration of wanting to help somebody, but wanting them to care as much as you do. It's not a fair game. So I wanted to level up in that sense of offering patients just something better that goes right in line with our chiropractic adjustment that will literally, help change their life.
Yeah, I always had this philosophy, especially in the end when I was in practice, is it's always better to add something in to try to subtract something from someone's lifestyle. It was just far less resistance and friction if I just said, hey, look, if you just add this one thing to your life, it'll make a big difference. You'll see a big change versus trying to convince them that, what they're doing is wrong. Just add this in instead. And that philosophy always worked for me. And I see this philosophy with CBD and why it's transforming lives and practices.
Yeah, I don't think it takes you don't have to know the entire process of it. There's a really easy communication approach to patients. And it's been awesome because I can see the eyeballs of the patients kind of just open up when I talk about it because it hits on 99% of the conditions that chiropractors are already seeing in their office. And here's the other thing too, man, is, I didn't want to treat headaches and back pain and sciatic pain for 10 years. Like, I'm sorry, that's a win. It's fun to get people out of that pain. But man, I got a lot more out of helping children overcome something or helping autoimmune diseases. And what I realized is, like, although I helped people with those autoimmune diseases with an adjustment, like, I never truly made the impact that I knew I could. And now all of a sudden, man, my Crohn's patient, my gut related patients, Crohn's, IBS, digestive complaints of any sort, because we know that's inflammation and that's immune based too, right? That's where the immune system is basically controlled. That's what it's starting to change, man. So like when kids are getting less sick and people aren't taking the powerfully horrible drugs for these autoimmune diseases, like, that is a win that not just I get to celebrate, the entire clinic celebrates. And we don't celebrate it privately. Like, this is in our waiting room. I'm a little bit theatrical, man. Like, I make wins noticeable to people. It's contagious. Like, healing is contagious. And so that's why when you go to our clinic, it's like CBD and chiropractic. That's the conversations that are happening right now.
Yeah. And that's the other part of this too, is it's simple. Like, it's like, yeah, it was like, look, if I tried to say, hey, take this, this, and this, and you have to take this at this time of the day and this over here at this time, like, it was too overwhelming. It's like, instead, it's just like, hey, come in for your checkup, we'll get you checked, and then, stay on course with your CBD. And that was it. And I can say that, you know why I can say that? Because I'm not on any meds anymore. Like, it truly has changed our life. I mean, I'm like doing this Men of Iron stuff. I'm running guys up mountains now and stuff. Like, I mean, it has truly changed a family's life. So my entire family, just not my life alone. So number one, you said, look, docs need to try this stuff. So number two, I'm going to say like, look, if they want to try it, they need to get on the phone with you. So I dropped the link so that they can actually apply to get on a call with you. So they'll fill out, like, I think there's 5 questions, pretty simple stuff, right? Take 5 minutes, answer 5 questions. And then Dr. Gabe is going to likely set up a time with you and get on a call. Because here's the reason why I love this too, is because you're not just saying, hey, look, here it is, doc. Here's a box of CBD, and you just go and sell this stuff in your office. Like you guys are offering, like with Mahalo, you're offering like a ton of resources in like help and support for these docs too.
Yeah. This is what I get excited about, man, is that I know that most docs are like me. Like we have so much going on and so many different places to be and directions to go. In Mahalo, what I've done for our first 50 docs, we're doing this for sure, and we might extend this, but for our first 50 docs, I'm going to go on a 60-day, basically a 60-day VIP sort of service where I actually train them. But more importantly, man, I'm going to train their staff, because, you know, if your staff's not making you money and helping you get referrals, I don't know what we're paying them for, but they need to be in the same mission. So I'm going to train the staff on how to sell it. And then I think once you start getting first-time customers, they become repeat customers based on experience. So I think that's just a totally awesome thing to see in a practice that I haven't seen in 7 years. So yeah, it's an exclusive thing to the point where I'm like you, Ed. I want to work with people that are on the same mission and that we enjoy and have the same dedication to, you know, what we're providing here in Illinois. And so the first 50 docs, it's like a 60-day crash course. You can use me as much as you possibly want, because this is what I've restricted my clinic hours to be available for our Mahalo wellness doctors, or CBD doctors.
Wow. Like, I mean, you're all in.
Dude, it's changing lives faster with chiropractic than I've ever seen before. So I have to be all in.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. I mean, if there's a doc out there right now and they're kind of on the fence, they're like, I don't know about this CBD stuff. What would you say to them right now? Like, cause I think that you were in the same place maybe not so long ago. What would you say to that doc?
People's lives are at stake. And I mean that like literally, like people in your clinic, when they leave your clinic, they're left with one option, and that's the medical route that has failed them before, but because potentially you couldn't give them everything they needed, that's what they're going to do. So I think that this is, I don't even know if there's a word to really to put on the importance of it. But you know, my favorite quote, I don't know who says it, but the trouble is if you risk nothing, you risk even more. And so you're trying a product, you can try it yourself. I'll walk these docs through it however they need, but you owe it to your patients to offer them the best wellness products in your clinic. Mahalo Wellness has taken every step to be the best.
And so not only is it something that's helping, you know, in terms of, so this was one of the things that I've always looked for in practice was, look, how can I improve clinical results? So it was interesting practicing with Karen, my wife. She was like very like, how do I just say this? Hopefully she's not watching this, but she was just like, you know, she was like right brain, right? I'm left brain. I'm like, look, adjust on the side, you know, like I was like, like CBP, like how do I correct someone's challenges? How do I fix them? And I was always looking for a way that I could get better clinical results for patients, because I knew if I had better clinical results, it transferred into happier patients, meant that my practice was sustainable, and it meant that they referred. And I mean, I think that's really what we're talking about today, isn't it? Is adding something in like that.
So, and speaking of the referral word, like, and you know, this is your game, marketing. You know, what I've found through most of our chiropractors that I talk to is they're trying like 1,000 different marketing techniques to bring in new patients. The bonus that we're doing for the Mahalo docs, man, I feel like an infomercial. And now you get this, and now you get this. But no, we're actually setting up a community event in their community. So I don't care if you're in California, if you're in Kansas, like I and our team will actually set up a marketing event for you, for your patients to either come in or to gather at a local spot to learn about CBD. And I can teach that for them. Or I feel like empowering the chiropractor to teach themselves is critical and important for them to understand it as well. But that's like how far we're taking this. I don't want people to be, intimidated by like having another product on the shelf or not knowing enough about it. Because, I was with a doctor today. I'm doing an event June 13th for his community. And man, I sat him down for 30 minutes, and this doc, I call him a kid. He might be the same age or older, but he just whipped through it, man. We made it super simple to learn how it works within the body and how to, more importantly, explain that process to a patient. So, that first 60 days is we offer everything from introducing the CBD, but really setting an event to get you more patients into your office as well. And if you are the CBD doc, Mahalo doc in your community, we will make sure that people are referred to you based on their outreach to us. Because we're doing webinars and getting people. And here's the tricky part, Ed, is that we did a webinar, and I had messages from across many states asking for CBD oil. And because our partners, we said, listen, we are only selling to chiropractors. Like, I had to turn down a lot of people. And so I reached out to chiropractors in those states. I said, hey, listen, you got people literally in your neighborhood, in your city, looking for CBD. Do you want to learn more about it and how it's changing lives? And now those people are actually now becoming patients because, once you go into a chiropractic office, you get a chance to talk to a person. And if you know how to, explain chiropractic, and if you can learn how to explain CBD, man, it's a beautiful relationship.
I get it. And, here's an interesting thing too, is like, you got my attention when you said like community event, community. It reminds me of the dinner workshop without the dinner. So part of what we do in online business, like what my team and what we do is like, whenever someone comes to us, a doctor or someone wants us to help build a funnel or build an online presence around a certain brand or something like that. And of course, CBD has been coming up. So we're like doing our research, and like we hit on one site, like that's just organically, people are hitting on that site 3,000 visits a day. That's insane. And it is nuts. So here's what I'm taking from that. It's like, people in your community are looking for this already. They're looking for it already. So now you do a community event, which is an educational event on CBD. They show up. Not only do you have the opportunity to give them the value of what you offer with CBD, but you also have the value of giving them something which you also offer, which is chiropractic. Yeah.
And so, here's the thing is chiropractic it's here for me. Number one, and CBD is right below it and congruent with it. So if I can get more patients into my own personal clinic without having to do another Facebook ad, with the doc, I'm all for it, man. If I can help other chiropractors generate new patients just based on having a product that works in their office, like that's a pretty powerful 1-2 combination,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And so here's what we're going to do as well. And I'm just going to kind of start wrapping this call up is, look, I'm going to turn this into a chiropractic philanthropist podcast because I think it's such a valuable conversation. It's going to help a lot of doctors not only grow their practice, so attract new patients so that they can get experience the light of chiropractic, but they can also experience the results of CBD. I've seen it inside of my life with my family. I want to definitely see that more people are experiencing those results. I know that there's an agenda not to, on some of this is to not allow this stuff to get out there, but we're determined, we are obsessed to get this information out. So this will be a chiropractic philanthropist episode. Yes. So here's what I'm going to do. So everyone listening, just know it's not on my website yet, but if you're listening to it on the podcast, head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We'll have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with Dr. Gabe Ellis. We're going to have all the links, including the application link, so you can actually fill out the application form and you can get on a call. I'll have the opportunity to get on a call with Dr. Gabe. We'll also add any other links and information that might be relevant to the discussion today. But I want to thank you, Dr. Gabe. Brought the fire today.
It's my pleasure, my man. I'm excited for chiropractors, man. I want everybody to experience, what's happening in our clinic and really give their patients that experience that we're seeing too. So I appreciate you, man. Mahalo to you. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks, bud.
All right.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to the chiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Chiropractic Philanthropist.